everyone, and welcome. My name is Inga Hansen, and I'll be your host for today's MedTech Intelligence virtual event, putting quality behind intelligent cancer care at Varian. This event is sponsored by ETQ. We have a couple of housekeeping items before we begin. You're listening in using GoTo's web-based broadcast system. This uses your computer speaker system by default. There is no call-in number. If you're having problems with the audio, please try to increase your computer's volume. And if you continue to have problems, please log out and reconnect. If you continue to have audio issues, please contact Veronica Allen via the chat box to let her know you're having problems. And today's event will consist of a 45-minute presentation by our speakers, followed by Q&A. You can submit questions by text using the chat pane in the control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. You can send in your questions at any time during the presentation, and we will collect those and address them during Q&A at the end of the presentation. You'll also be able to participate in an interactive poll that will appear on your screen, and we do encourage you to participate. You can download a PDF file of the slides that are used today from the handouts pane in your control panel. If you're on a mobile device, the handouts page will appear as a page icon. And please do make sure to download those during the presentation. They will not be emailed after the webinar. Now I'd like to introduce our presenters for today. David Isaacson is the Vice President of Product Marketing at ETQ. He has more than 25 years experience in software product marketing and management. David has successfully brought software as a service products to market for a variety of industries and high growth companies. He's worked for software companies such as Anaqua, VFA, Accruent, and Oracle, where he led the product management team responsible for integrating analytics into the Oracle database. And I'd also like to welcome Srinivas Bindula. He is the QMS project manager at Varian Medical Systems, a Siemens Healthineers company. And Srinivas has more than 10 years experience in software development and quality system management, and he leads the team responsible for process automation and development of QMS applications at Varian. Thank you so much for being here and welcome.
Thank you, Inga. Appreciate everybody joining us today. Let me make sure I'm sharing the right screen here. Let's go here.
You were correct.
Okay, so everybody should be seeing the screen. That's great. Srinivas, thank you so much for joining us today. Really excited to discuss a little bit about the journey at Varian and how you use quality management and specifically the ETQ quality management system. Before we get into that, I'm going to do a quick introduction to ETQ for those on the phone and on the webinar today who do not know who we are, and I'm glad to see so many folks joining us today. Then Srinivas, you'll get into the Varian quality journey, have a little bit of a discussion and Q&A. And along the way, hopefully everybody gets a little bit of information that is really interesting, because I think where Varian is today and the types of things that you guys do is just so important to so many people who are suffering today with cancer and other illnesses. So I think it's really, really critical for helping that population. So first, what we want to do is just give a quick introduction on who ETQ is. We provide a quality management system. That is what our core is. That's what we've been doing for over 30 years, is providing this cloud-based, really powerful quality management system that allows our customers to take advantage of leading edge technologies, be able to understand, looking at current issues, any non-conformances, corrective actions that need to take place, doing root cause analysis, making sure all the employees are up to speed in terms of what the latest procedures are for quality management and so forth. So pretty broad set of capabilities that look internally as well as across the supply chain to really help drive quality into the marketplace. It is something we've been doing, as I said, for over 30 years. We have a broad set of customers. I'll show you a sample in a moment, crossing many different industries, which allows us to share best practices across all these different organizations. It's not just about, as we'll hear about from Srinivas today, in the life sciences space, but also in manufacturing, in food and beverage, in services, in a whole lot of different areas that we help our customers leverage the best practices in quality management today. And our customers have come to expect, and we provide a superior customer experience, making sure that all of their needs are being met, and hopefully addressing those in a timely fashion as questions do come up. So as I mentioned, we do have a broad set of customers using the quality management system. Our quality management system is called Reliance, and addressing quality management needs almost across pretty much any industry that needs to deal with quality, which these days should pretty much be everybody. So you'll see here organizations, as I said, in food and beverage and consumer goods, electronics, manufacturing, life sciences, and so forth. And these customers all have taken advantage of the ETQ quality management system to meet their quality needs for their customers. That is a really important understanding of how what we're producing in the marketplace as an organization. We're making sure that our customers not only have the highest quality, but as an organization, we are focused on what's most important to the organization as well, such as making sure we have, limited problems, so we don't have warranties and recalls. We keep our scrap low. We make sure that employees have the right tools to be most productive as they do their jobs on a day-to-day basis, whether we're dealing with documentation or training or any of the host of other types of activities such as audits that might come up for a quality organization. And it actually goes broader beyond the quality organization. And as Srinivas will tell you, the whole company is behind the quality management system. We're talking about thousands of people who get access and use and leverage the quality management system. So it's really important that it's an environment that allows a broad range of users to get access to the system. Now, when we look at where Varian is, they are certainly one of our life science customers. They join a very broad set of customers who take advantage of Reliance, ETQ Reliance, from the life sciences perspective. You see a lot of names in there you'll probably recognize. And this is a really strong area for ETQ, and continue to grow this business and see this as a really important aspect of the services that we provide to customers. And why is that? Because we're trying to make sure that we're addressing those challenges that life sciences and medical device organizations face on a day-to-day basis. Today, you can't turn around without bumping into a government regulation, whether that's in the US or even internationally. We need to make sure that we've got the right tools, collecting the right information at the right time for those regulators. But it goes beyond just the government regulations. It's making sure that we're mitigating quality and compliance risks, because what's being done in the life sciences space has really important consequences to the patients that are taking advantage of what's being produced. So we want to make sure that the highest quality is out there in the marketplace, because the consequences can be dire if not. And then at the end of the day, protecting the brand value, keeping the business in good stead in the marketplace. These days, when there's a problem, everybody hears about it. Social media is ubiquitous, as we all know, and if there's something going wrong, it's words, and it can have really negative consequences to an organization, to the brand's value, to that whole company. And so when you look at how a proven quality management system can help, what we look at is being able to standardize quality processes. We're talking about making sure that whether you have one production facility or multiple, that they're all taking advantage of the same processes and the same quality information across the entire product lifecycle. Being able to leverage analytics to make data-driven decisions. collect a lot of data, you hear a lot of feedback in the marketplace, you have a lot of input from activities that take place within the organization. How do we make sure that we're using that data effectively? I mentioned maintaining compliance. ISO 9001, FDA regulations, 21 CFR Part 11, for example, EU MDR and the MIR requirements, on and on. There are just this laundry list of regulations that we need to comply with. And being able to hit proper timelines around the globe to maintain profitability, to maximize
David, I'm sorry, I think we lost your audio.
profitability. That's a rework, making sure,
David,
as well as not just internally, but also with suppliers. Yes?
we're
Yes?
having issues with your audio. It keeps coming in and out for some reason. So we lost about the last 3 minutes of what you said.
Okay, is it on this slide?
Yes, it's on this slide. And right
Okay.
now it's working out fine, but you seem to be drifting in and out for some reason.
All right. I'm
Okay.
sorry about that, but I'm almost done. I'm going to turn it over to Srinivas so he'll be able to carry on. But let me just recap what I was just saying here on this slide about a quality management system can really focus in on those standardized quality processes around the globe, making sure that all employees understand the right approaches and have the right information to do their jobs at the right time. Having analytics, we collect a lot of information from the market, from our end customers, as well as internally. How do we make sure that we're leveraging that to make the best decisions possible? We want to make sure that we're maintaining compliance with global regulations, whether it's like ISO 9000, FDA regulations such as 21 CFR Part 11, EU and the European Commission regulations, EU MDR, MIR, and so forth. And then finally, making sure that we can do all this profitably on the right timeline for an organization, both internally as well as when we deal with our suppliers, making sure that we're collaborating with suppliers for corrective action. So if there's a problem that a supplier has introduced into the production process, that we work with them effectively to correct that really in a timely fashion, and therefore focus in on those processes to make sure that all corrective actions are taken care of in a timely fashion. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Srinivas now to help take us through the Varian journey. So Srinivas, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, David. So at Varian, we try to help mitigate, help to treat and reduce the cancer burden in the world. As you know, both cancer burden as well as the need for treatment are enormous enormous worldwide. So at Varian, our aspiration is to build a cancer operating platform by integrating multi-therapeutic modalities and connecting them via software solutions. So we are planning to increase our number of patient touch by 7-fold over the next year. So David, if you can go to the next slide. Varian has been the leader in the radiation therapy business area, but recently we have merged our company with Siemens in order to achieve our common goals. So Varian has a history of 75 years of innovation and problem solving in radiation therapy. So we plan to transform it into a broader based cancer care company with the clinical solutions relevant across the cancer care continuum. And as I mentioned, combining Varian and Siemens technologies together, we plan to achieve these objectives. David, next slide, please. So until 2017, Varian was historically focusing on radiation therapy. Starting from 2017, we ventured into a multimodality cancer care company. And 2021, Varian became a Siemens Healthineers company. And combinedly, from radiation therapy to multimodality therapy, comprehensive care is being provided at Varian. Next slide, please. So we have 240,000 patients touched per hour, and we have 700,000 installed bases, and we have about 70K highly skilled employees combinedly in Varian and Siemens Healthineers. And when you look at the patient journey at Varian, it's more than one business unit. We have multiple business units such as radiation therapy, interventional oncology, medical oncology. And when we support these from a quality perspective, we plan to build a stable and sustainable system which can support all different business lines. Coming to the journey of ETQ Reliance at Varian, as the Varian global print has been increasing, and so is ETQ Reliance at Varian. And we started our journey back in 2006, 2007. We embarked upon a journey to improve our quality organization and how we manage our quality records. And at that time, ETQ became and has been continued to be a key partner in achieving those quality goals. And we began our initial implementation with complaints, CAPA, risk, and eValidator modules. I think we were one of the initial customers of eValidator. And we began with the initial implementation and implemented these with the help of ETQ to solve our immediate needs in accuracy and effectively manage those quality records. For several years, we maintained those core modules, and we steadily and slowly grew in both user domain as well as the quality system process needs, including complete re-implementation, reconfigurations of our core module, and also we ventured into a sustained growth where we actually introduced new custom modules as well. Next slide. So currently we have 2,500 plus users using our ETQ Reliance platform at Varian. And as I mentioned, we have went through multiple enhancements, customizations, and automatizations within ETQ Reliance to support our quality needs. We have 3 custom compliance applications that we built from the scratch using ETQ Reliance. Those are field action management, phase gate reviews, quality plans, and variant requests. We will talk about those in a while. Apart from that, at Varian, ETQ Reliance is not really limited to a quality domain, but we would consider it as an enterprise application. So this is a global application used all over the organization, and not only the quality and regulatory processes, but we actually implemented or automated some of the enterprise processes such as enterprise security, trade compliance, and variant requests. If you go to the next slide. So in the compliance applications, the custom applications that we built, field action management, many of the medical device companies deal with field actions, recalls, such scenarios. So having a manual or a paper-based system is not really adequate because we are not able to have conclusions or analytics drawn from the field actions or to see how many CAPAs or non-conformance actually resulted in those field actions. So as ETQ already supports our non-conformance, complaints handling, and risk management processes within ETQ, we decided to build field action management module in ETQ. So this module is a custom-built module configured to user-specific requirements that serves as a repository for all the field action records which Varian has. And for the phase gate reviews, this is a part of our design and development process. So when a product or a version of the product is released into the market, we were supposed to be conducting the reviews for each phase of the product release. And we used to have a paper-based system. And as I mentioned, so paper-based systems are not really highly effective when it comes to audits or document management. So we decided to implement cascade reviews in our ETQ platform. And the quality plans, overall organization, we implemented a quality plan module. So previously, as I mentioned, we have different business lines such as radiation oncology, medical oncology, and interventional oncology. Different business organizations used to follow different quality plan approaches and different document templates or different procedures. Implementing this quality plan module helped us streamline the process to a unanimous and single platform for maintaining all the quality plans in our organization. And for the enterprise application scope, we implemented enterprise security, which helps our global risk and compliance team to electronically document and initiate information security findings and track their action items. Trade compliance, similar to our non-conformance. In our trade business area, when there are non-conformances, they wanted to track the non-conformances or CAPAs. So they were inspired by the module, CAPA module or corrective actions module ETQ has. And our trade compliance team has requested us to build a similar module. So we were able to spin off a new module called trade compliance, taking the initiative from the CAPA module. Variant requests. So this is an administrative supportive module which helped our IT and administrative and business teams to maintain the access requests associated with ETQ. So in our organization, we have different modules, and each module is associated with different roles, and there are several training needs. It's also a manual process where users were unaware of the process, or there was no particular procedure in order to request access or grant access. Implementing this variant request module, we were able to eliminate the support team as well as administrators from the picture, and we were able to connect the business or module owners with the business users, where they can request access to different roles, and they get access to the training profiles and finish the training. And the automation helped us grant the access. So this is one of our ETQ Innovation Award entries a couple of years ago. Next slide. So how we manage our QMS in Varian. So continuous improvement is the key to successful implementation of our QMS as well as sustainability of our quality systems. So it is a business partnership between our regulatory department, our QMS IT, me as part of the QMS IT. We have a strong relationship with our regulatory affairs and quality assurance team to deliver the projects and achieve the common goals of the organization. And focus on the customers. Our customers are regulatory users, and we continuously try to get their feedback and see where we can help them in automating or streamlining a process. Embracing the change. So this is definitely one of the main important points when any changes are introduced. Our regulatory team has been very supportive of any changes that we introduce to the system, and also they're always reaching out to us in order to see where we can help by automating or streamlining the processes. Next slide. So at Varian, we take pride in enhancing and customizing the modules, because not every time the out-of-box module may fit to the requirements. So by tailoring the process to the unique requirements of the organization, we try to improve the efficiency, reduce errors, and enhance overall performance. So improved efficiency. So as I mentioned previously, by implementing automated process or streamlining process, we were able to help our customers improve their efficiency, and it helped us align with the business needs. So using the enhancements, there were several quality objectives we were able to support, such as a Varian, we had an initiative to reduce our non-conformances and CAPAs, or the processing time for these quality records. So using the enhancements and customizations, we were able to achieve those. And enhance quality and consistency using the automated system. It is easy to maintain the records or have a consistent and sustainable system, and greater flexibility. So given the ETQ provides us with the ability to customize the out-of-box modules as well as build new modules if there is any need, it gives us great flexibility in order to improve our quality systems. Next slide, please. So not only the customizations or enhancement, we also have several integrations which is supported by ETQ Reliance platform. So for our complaint handling process, previously we used to have a manual entry for complaint determination or complaint processing. Now we actually automated this process through an integration with Salesforce platform, where our customer support help desk cases will be transformed into customer complaints and complaint determinations. As well as we do have integrations with our defect tracking systems. So these are some of the defect tracking systems that we have at Varian, JAMA, ADLM, ClearQuest, and we have inbound and outbound integrations with these systems to keep track of synchronization between the data between these systems. And the Varian request and service now, as I mentioned, Varian request is a module within ETQ, but ServiceNow is our go-to platform for our users for any support-related incidents or tasks. So we integrated these systems to seamlessly process the request, even if the users actually initiate this request in ServiceNow. And we also have MedWatch submission, one of the great features of ETQ, EMDR submission. So we have that as well. Next slide, please. So return on investment. So coming to the return on investment, using ETQ Reliance, we were able to build a stronger and stable quality system by implementing the electronic system, and business reduced the time and efforts required to manually document those quality records. We have successful audits for the past 17 years. And I can say that there were some auditors who actually complemented the ETQ audit management module. And by implementing the other quality and regulatory processes within ETQ, we were able to link between different subsystems and achieve common goals and identify the painful areas where we need to improve. And process automation. So by automating the process or streamlining the process, we are able to transform from just a regulatory application into an enterprise-wide application. As I mentioned, we have several integrations with different enterprise-wide applications. And ETQ Reliance, we also automated several processes such as access management, defect tracking, and extension request hierarchical determinations. And streamlining and automating these integrations, it helped us reduce the errors and mistakes which could have happened when we process these records manually. And supporting quality initiatives and goals. So we achieved our quality initiative to reduce the non-conformance and CAPA timelines, metrics, and dashboards. As this is an electronic system with a data lake, we were able to use the data from the system to build the dashboards, or use the data to provide insights to our quality team to identify the areas of improvement. And there are a lot of time saving and cost savings, and overall it has provided us with improved quality, improved productivity, increased accuracy, and increased agility. Next slide, please. At Varian, these are our mantras. These are Varian QMS IT Mantras: automation, extendability, and user experience. So when we are building any new process or reconfiguring any process, we always keep these 3 points in our mind when we do the development or integration. So automation, how can we reduce the errors, or how can we reduce the manual efforts by integrating or automating the processes. As you know, ETQ has a lot of profiles and templates which can help reduce a lot of human efforts. So, and using those configurations and system features, we try to automate as much as possible. Extendability, and we design a module to have the minimum or no hard coding. How do we achieve it? We try to achieve that using the ETQ script profiles, task profiles, or connection profiles, which ETQ has as a inbuilt features, which gives us extendability to extend our changes to different business organizations. As I mentioned, when business has different requirements or different business lines have different setups or configurations, extendability is what we think about, making sure that the module that we are building is not just limited to one business line or business unit, but can be scalable and adapted to any changes that comes into the picture. Initially, when we implemented some of our custom modules, we had 2 business lines, but right now we have 4 to 5 business lines. And using this extendability as our mantra, we were able to scale the process and adapt the process to new business lines and organizations that merged into Varian. And user experience, this would be the final goal, to make sure that we improve the user experience by streamlining the process. Next slide, please. And what are the lessons learned and tips and tricks? So as I mentioned, the profiles. ETQ has various templates and profiles. They are really powerful tools and helpful tools for development as well as administration. Custom profiles to reduce configurations. So as I mentioned, we try to reduce the hard coding or any scripting in the backend. We try to create custom profiles. When the profiles provided by ETQ are not enough, or if there is a need for a specific customized profile, you can just go ahead and create those profiles to store the data or complete your configurations. That would help reduce any changes to the script, and that will actually reduce your validation efforts as well. And standard naming and design practices will help debugging. So ETQ provides a lot of customization and scope for flexibility, but sometimes it could be hard to debug where the error occurs. So always following the standard naming procedures as well as design practices. There could be more than one designer or administrator in your organization, but following the standard practices would greatly help improve your quality systems. ETQ script profiles are developers' best friends, as I mentioned. And think bigger. Always keep scalability in mind when designing. So as I said, when we are developing, we always try to keep the future in note, that what if something changes in the process, so that we don't completely rely on scripting or code in order to achieve the system improvement. We always try to use either custom profiles or the templates and ETQ profiles in order to achieve those. Promote the importance of quality and QMS applications. This may not be the case with all the organizations, but I have come across different organizations where QMS applications or quality applications are not really considered of a big deal, but they are. So promoting the importance of quality system and promoting the importance of your quality system, what your system can do and how you guys can help your customers, it would greatly improve your quality systems as well. And conducting user sessions and peer reviews will give you perspective on where the users have more need, and also where we need to focus on more. And finally, though web APIs and protocols need some improvement, web services are definitely a place to explore. ETQ does support different types of web APIs, so that's one of other aspects we we are exploring at Varian. Next slide, please. Yeah, thank you.
Srinivas, thank you so much. Really interesting, your journey in terms of where you've come from and what you've been working on. Before we open it up for questions, a couple of questions, some thoughts just to ask you is, first of all, how long have you been with Varian?
I've been with Varian for about 5 years.
Okay, and are you the sole person who manages the ETQ Reliance from the IT side, or do you have a team that helps you?
We have a team. As I said, it's called Varian QMS IT. Those are our mantras. So we have about 8 to 9 administrators and designers who support our quality system, not just ETQ, our other document management and regulatory applications.
Sure. And one other question I have, and you've done a lot of creative things with the system, it looks like, over time. How do you figure out what you want to do next? Do you go through some sort of process? If a business user says, I want to do something, do you go through some sort of process to determine if it's something that can be done in ETQ? How does that work?
First of all, we try to see whenever users come up with a question or any need for requirement, we try to identify if we already have the module within ETQ which can support it. For an example, we have task management module implemented. So our quality team wanted to track the repetitive task that quality team goes through. So task management module is one of the out-of-box modules which actually supported the need. So first, always we go for our out-of-box module configurations and see if that fits the requirement. If not, we try to tweak it, customize it. And if it is a completely, out of scope, we try to design using a custom module.
Okay, interesting. Because it looks like you've not just built certain items already, but you're thinking about future items as well, right? I don't want to necessarily get into where you're going next, but just it seems like the system still has a lot of value that you're looking at for the future.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. With that, I think we're ready to open it up for Q&A. I see Inga's back on with us.
Hello. Yeah, and thank you so much, Srinivas and David. And we do have a poll question that's going to come on the screen as we start Q&A. And again, we do encourage you to take part in that poll. And that will be coming up in just a moment. And we do have some questions coming in. One is, somebody's asking, could you elaborate a little bit more about integrating ETQ with ADLM?
For the integration between ETQ and ADLM, we most of the time have web services in place, our task profiles that we use. So ADLM is also known as like a TFS, a Teams Foundation site, or Azure DevOps system. So this is one of the systems used in Varian for our defect and issue tracking. So in our complaints, we always try to refer back to our defects or issues in order to provide more details to the customer. It actually feeds back into our customer case portal, which is our Salesforce platform. So it's a tight integration between different systems. So ETQ in the middle talks with the issue and defect tracking systems and sync the information like what are the complaints associated with the issue or what are the issues associated with the complaint, and this information flows back to the customer, providing them more updates about their complaint.
Great. And we have another question. Are you using Insight? And our poll has just come up, so thank you for that. And the question is, are you using Insights for data analytics?
Not now. We haven't implemented data analytics yet. We recently moved to 2020 version of ETQ, but that definitely is in our future projects.
Okay, and I do want to remind people the poll is up. Organizations seek out a QMS to solve these problems. Which resonate most with you? And get back to questions. I had a question for you again, Srinivas. How did you get management buy-in to bring in a QMS system?
So I think it was like 2017, 2007 or 8, where initially our ETQ QMS system has been implemented. But as I mentioned, we always try to improve our QMS systems through enhancements or customizations, focusing on our customer needs. So that is how we try to improve the systems continuously to make sure that our quality management systems are up to date.
And I have a question that I'm gonna bring to both of you, but first Srinivas, we'll bring it to you. Actually, real quickly, I'll give you the poll responses. So 67% said reducing cost of poor quality, 67 adapting to changing compliance, 33 managing supply chain quality, and 67 providing visibility into quality data on that. And so the next question has to do with implementation. How did your team or your organization respond to the implementation of the new system?
Definitely, most of the time when we have any implementation happen, that comes from the business with a need for either automating or streamlining the process. So we try to create a POC and proof of concept and show that to the users. And not every time we may be able to successfully achieve that, but so far, most of the time, given the flexibility of ETQ, we were able to implement those changes. And as I mentioned, our regulatory team has been very supportive of any changes that comes into the organization and ready to accept any improvements.
And David, there was a follow-up asking ETQ, do you have any recommendations on how to support the implementation in companies of varying sizes?
In terms of support, like you heard Srinivas say they got this large team that manages and helps support the QMS, which is great. In larger organizations, you'll find that. In small organizations, a lot of times you'll find that there's an administrator who is the primary support person. One of the flexible beauties of Reliance is that you don't have to be a really sophisticated user to take advantage of a lot of the power. So even just having, a power user or an administrator who can do the basic tasks. We've got some smaller customers who deal with configurations and even creating new applications on their own, even for the smaller, because it's a low code, no code approach typically. So I don't think you need to start with a huge staff. I think it's, start with the basics of the application. Get your documentation control, your corrective actions, your training, some of those key initial applications in there. You can start small with a team and then grow it over time. And as the organization grows, you get to a point where, like you see with Srinivas and his team, where they're able to support a lot of users across a broad range of applications, whether they are part of what come with Reliance or build on top of it.
And speaking of the large organization that you're working with, Srinivas, how do you make sure all of those users are up to date and in compliance when you are updating your process?
Before any new changes are rolled out to the users, we try to conduct user sessions. So we will introduce the changes that's going to happen from the IT perspective. We will conduct these training sessions for the users. And also from the business perspective, our regulatory team or the respective module owners, they will update our quality procedures or documentations. And most of the time, the roles associated with our users, such as complaints, CAPAs, or audits, each role is associated with the training. So we make sure we update the training material and reassign those trainings to the users before we roll out any changes.
And this is a little bit of follow-up, you might have hit on some of this, but do you have any tips on how to get people to start utilizing the system once it's been implemented?
Yeah. So we try to, as I mentioned, mostly through user sessions. And what we are actually planning to do is conduct a quarterly sessions, which is an inspiration from ETQ. They always conduct tips and tricks sessions. So we actually are taking an inspiration from that to conduct tips and tricks to make sure that users are using the system correctly. And most of the time, a lot of users do not know the nuances and the features that the tool offers. So we plan to conduct these sessions where we explain the features and how they can effectively use the system by training them.
Yeah, I was going to follow up on that, Inga. Also, you have an organization such as Varian that's been a user of quality management systems for a long time. Their users are probably in a slightly different place because they're comfortable and they understand it to a level. If it's a new user, somebody who's starting off on a quality management journey, you got to do more hand-holding typically to make sure that they are comfortable with the system and they understand the value. So you almost have to sell them on even using it for the first time. So, you know, both ends of that spectrum now you have to take a look at.
And how is that the same thing? We looked at one of the responses was managing supply chain quality. Do you need to work with your supply chain as you're integrating your new system also to make sure you're compatible, or to help train them to give them what you need for your new system? And do you have any tips or strategies for that?
So I think it's a matter of making sure your suppliers are in alignment with what you're planning on doing. You need to work with your suppliers on a day-to-day basis to make sure that they understand the impact they're having on your products. Srinivas, I'll turn that over to you. How do you deal with your supply chain?
So currently, we don't manage our suppliers or supplier systems in our QMS systems or the system that our team supports. So as Varian and Siemens, they have a custom-built tool for managing the suppliers.
Terrific. Well, thank you both so much, and we thank you all to the attendees. Those are the questions that came in, and just wanted to check on with both David and Srinivas and see if there are any final thoughts that you wanted to share with the audience about the importance or the utility of the QMS system.
Srinivas, I'll toss it over to you first. If there's anything you want to.
Yeah, definitely. So as I mentioned, from IT background, so when it comes to the IT, people may not know the importance of quality systems or how critical they are to a medical device or life science company. So promoting the importance is something what we are doing in our IT domain so that we support the quality team more effectively.
And that's a terrific way to end. I think that's perfect. It's just making sure everybody internally understands the value of the quality management system and the value it can bring to the organization.
Yeah, and I think it's, as we're seeing globally and in the U.S. too, just with the increased regulation and obviously increased focus on quality in addition to the need for improving patient outcomes. These are incredibly important topics and practices to get in place. So again, we thank you both for being here today and for providing all this great information. And want to thank all of our attendees for being here with us today, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.